You are tuned in to Kids
In the Pit.
Hey guys, it's Gabe from the Kids in the Pit podcast. Today I'm joined by Albert Mudrian from Decibel Magazine. Hey Albert, my grandpa's name is Albert, and my great-grandpa's name is Albert. My dad's middle name is Albert too. You're the first Albert I've met that isn't in my family. Are you named after a relative?
How do you know I'm not in your family?
Well, you could be somewhere on this tree, but
You
most
gotta
likely
get
not
you
in
gotta
the
get a
family.
23andMe done. Check that out. No, I was the second Albert, I think. I think my biological dad's name was Albert.
Oh,
But I think the Albert lineage ends with me in my family.
okay. Nice. So let's talk about your job with Decibel Magazine. So, what is your job title and what does that entail?
Well, my job title is technically editor in chief, but I founded the magazine back in 2004. So, in addition to being the guy who assigns and edits all of the stories and arranges the covers and photo shoots and all that kind of stuff, the stuff that a normal editor would do. Since we started as an indie. I did everything from like selling the advertising to doing all the marketing and some distribution work. And then over the years, as it grew a little bit and we were able to add some people to take some of those things off my plate, I ended up getting into developing the other things that Decibel does, like Decibel Metal and Beer Fest, Decibel Books, Decibel Records, our Flexi series, the Decibel Magazine tour, running our website. So it's not a typical editor in chief job, or at least the one that it was when I started. But Decibel's kind of grown in a lot of different ways since 2004. So my daily job is just kind of all over the place.
Nice. So, in what city is Decibel Magazine headquarters located?
Headquarters are still located in Philadelphia. We have, I think there are three of us that are out there, and then there are a couple more of us that are spread out in the Northern Virginia area.
Nice. So, for those not familiar with the magazine, can you tell us what it's about and where to buy it and anything else you want people to know?
Yeah, it's a heavy metal magazine, heavy metal, hardcore, extreme music, extreme metal, traditional metal. It's pretty much anything loud and heavy that isn't terrible. We try to stay away from new metal, kind of glam rock things that we find aesthetically displeasing. But yeah, it's available, pretty much any Barnes and Noble. Um, if you were to go, I would say the best place to always just get it is directly from us at decibelmagazine.com. You can subscribe, you can get single back issues, whatever you like there. But if you like going to a newsstand and picking it up, I always just suggest going right to Barnes and Noble.
Cool. So, is there an article or feature that you're the most proud of, and who is the most famous band you've featured in a Decibel issue?
I'm man, things that I'm most proud of. It's probably, I don't know if I could say there's a singular article. We've done we're working on issue 222 right now.
Wow.
So I don't want to think about how many articles have run over the years in the magazine. It's a lot. There are certain, Hall of Fame features that we've done, and that's a popular recurring column in the magazine where we take a classic record and then interview every band member who performed on the record. So you get the full story of the recording, the writing, the touring around the album, the overall impact of it. But it's the policy is that we have to talk to everybody who performed on it. So in the event that there's a member who's passed away, it's not eligible for Hall of Fame induction, or if there's a guy who's MIA, or if there's bad blood between members and they don't want to talk about the past, we can't induct those because the whole idea behind it is that you want the full story, you want everybody's perspective, and we don't want to do like a piece that leaves somebody out of an important record. So those are a lot of work, and sometimes they take years to track people down or to convince people who don't want to talk to actually talk. And we've done 220 some of those over the years. We've released anthology books of those. Those are always, again, super edifying, super gratifying, and people, our readers really react to them. The bands react to them. There's been a lot of cool stuff that's come out of them. I know we inducted Agnostic Front Cause for Alarm
Oh,
into the
cool.
Hall of Fame probably about, I don't know, maybe it was 10 years ago. And that inspired them to reunite that lineup to do some shows together, just by that, them talking about the whole, them all getting together, talking about the interview, talking about the record, and then seeing it in print. It just like it moved that down the line. And things like that are really cool when you can feel like that there's a tangible impact, based on something that's run in the magazine. But as far as the most famous bands, I mean, I don't know, any like Metallica has been on the covers, Black
Wow.
Sabbath, Iron Maiden, Ozzy, like anything that's in, like we've there aren't any enormous artists in the metal scene that we haven't covered, because we've been around like 20 years. Just it just kind of happens.
Wait, so you like had to get permission from like Metallica and Iron Maiden and stuff?
To talk to them.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you had
yeah.
to.
Oh
Wow,
well,
that's awesome.
you have to track them down. You have to talk to their publicists and convince them to do cover stories, and then they do interviews with us, and then do photo shoots. Sometimes the photo shoots are really exciting and satisfying too. Like the last time we put Metallica on the cover was 2016, and we recreated the cover photo of their Garage Days Revisited EP,
Cool.
with the members as they are now, on the cover. So you get to do cool things like that. We did something like that with Slayer too. Their iconic photo of them on the back cover of Rain and Blood. We put them on the cover in 2016 and had them recreate that photo. That's the back cover of Rain and Blood.
Cool.
So you get to do cool things like that too sometimes.
Yeah. So what is the highest number of a single issue that has been sold?
Man, I honestly have no idea. This the thing is, it's like the distribution of a magazine is always in flux, because you have like stores opening, stores closing, stores taking more magazines a month, stores taking fewer. So you don't end up tracking the sales by like a pure physical number, because you
Uh,
also have subscribers, and you have people being added to the subscriber list, falling off the subscriber list weekly, monthly. So that's also a number that's always in flux. So you end up looking at something that's called a sell through. And the sell through basically is just a percentage of how many magazines were printed on a given month versus how many actually ended up selling. And I don't even remember what the highest sell through would be. Probably something like 50% one month, but whatever, I couldn't even tell you what what that 50% was of the 100%. You know what I mean?
yeah. So have you interviewed everyone in the Big Four then? Because one of my friends is metalhead and he loves them all.
Yeah, we've I believe we've in fact had every band of the big four on the cover of Decibel. We've done Megadeth once, we've done Anthrax, we've done Scott Ian, we've done Metallica twice. We did Slayer, I don't know how many times, probably like five or six. And then there was one tour um, that was supposed to be Slayer, Testament, and Megadeth. And I can't remember. I think it was called American Carnage or something, the name of the tour. This is like 12, 15 years ago. And we put them on the cover. We did a big cover story on the tour. We did photo shoot with Scotty, well, not with Scotty, and with Chuck Billy from Testament, with Dave Mustaine from Megadeth, Tom Araya from Slayer. Came out, and then a day after it came out, they announced the tour was going to be canceled because Tom Araya needed neck surgery.
Wow.
So yeah, best laid
I
plans.
uh, yeah. I met Joey Belladonna last year, and I got a picture with him.
Yeah, is he cool?
Yeah, he was cool. And
Yeah, I've
he gave me a
never.
guitar pick, even though he's the singer of Anthrax. Apparently, he
Well,
has guitar picks,
it's
which
probably easier to hand you a guitar pick than a mic stand. You
yeah,
know, can carry those.
yeah. So, Decibel Metal and Beer Fest is coming up in April. Tell me about it and why everyone over 21 should attend.
Why everybody should attend. Well, first of all, as you're probably aware now, you got to be 21 to attend Decibel Metal and Beer Fest. So
Yeah,
my first advice is be at least 21. And then my second advice is um, that you can go for either the metal or the beer. You can go for both.
yeah.
Um,
We can, well, not
and
neither. Never mind.
but I think that I think that you'll experience um you'll experience some kind of unique presentation of both. There's bands performing sets that they've never performed before. Um, like Suicidal Tendency is going to play all of their first record in full. Uh, um, Gorguts, death metal band from Canada, is going to play their Considered Dead and Obscura albums, or at least part, or their whole set is going to consist of songs from those records.
Wait,
Incantation,
Suicidal
Gorguts,
Tendencies is playing the first record all the way through?
yes, yeah,
What?
and then they're gonna play some hits after that too. So I would think you'll still get You Can't Bring Me Down and
Yeah.
How Will I Laugh Tomorrow snuck in there too.
Nice.
But so yeah, so you get that, and then you get you get a really unique collection of craft brewers throughout the country who come, and then they brew beer especially for the event, and they will all collaborate with a band that's playing at the fest. So if you want to drink a beer that a brewery in Gorguts came up with, there'll be that beer there, or a beer that Black Dahlia Murder came up with a brewery from Colorado. Like we'll have that there, and
Wow.
so it turns into like a really just like a really cool experience, I think, for people.
So you know the band Hot Water Music?
Yes, hot water music. Yep.
We got Chuck Reagan's beer can.
That looks like hot water music art. That's like that's right on brand there. That's pretty cool.
Slam, there's apparently they have like apparently they have beer. Probably
What's
Chuck
the
Reagan's DNA in there. That's probably a Chuck Reagan beard hair.
better save that? You could save that. You could probably sell that for at least $1 on eBay. It's collectible.
Yeah. Okay. Well, now some questions about you, not the magazine.
Okay.
So, what was the first punk, hardcore, or metal show you attended, and how old were you?
Like underground stuff.
Just
I would,
whatever.
yeah, I mean, like
Like,
punk. I grew up in Northeast Pennsylvania in a town called Wilkes-Barre, and we had like a kind of a pretty thriving like local hardcore and metal scene. There were there were punk and hardcore and metal shows every weekend. So like my first shows would have just been like local bands there that nobody's ever heard of, that like never made it really outside of Wilkes-Barre. So I would have probably been like 15, and it would have been bands like Ossuary and Government Cheese and So What. Like
government
those were the
cheese.
names. Government. There's a band called Government Cheese.
That's
Yeah,
a good name.
yep. It's available again. I don't think they're active.
Oh, well, what are some of your favorite bands of all time, and what are some bands you suggest other people go see live?
Um, my favorite bands of all time: Napalm Death, Paradise Lost is another. Just like, and then kind of obvious classics like Iron Maiden still holds up for me. Judas Priest, things like that. Carcass is another. A lot of old school death metal bands for me. That's kind of what I grew up with and connected with when I was like 15, 16. It was pretty fundamental for where I went with the music. And then as far as bands that I'd recommend, I would say, the younger group of death metal bands that are coming up now, like bands like Tomb Mold, bands like Gate Creeper, bands like Undeath,
Oh,
Phobophilic,
um,
Frozen Soul, tons of good bands.
I saw on Death with Unearth and Madball because my mom was doing merch, so I just came along.
Look at that. Put mom to work. I like it.
I appreciate some death metal, but I'm more into hardcore. But my favorite Terror song has Corpse Grinder on it, and I really want to get him on my podcast sometime. His voice is so deep. It's crazy how that sound can come out of human.
You know what? Corpse Grinder would totally do your podcast. He has kids that are around your age, in fact, and he's despite having the name Corpse Grinder and despite fronting Cannibal Corpse and despite singing the way he does and about what he does, he's a giant softy. So I think you would enjoy talking with him. And if you like video games, he won't stop talking to you about those. So
Maybe.
something to think about.
That's cool. Wait, do you know him?
Hmm?
Cool. Yeah. Well, do you have kids and how old are they? And are they into heavy music like you and me?
I have two kids. My daughter is 11. My son is
My
8.
age.
Yeah. And
Yeah, I'm
my,
11.
my 11-year-old daughter, though, she is not into heavy music.
Oh, is your son?
Uh, he's 8. He is. In
Cool.
fact, that drum set back there, that's
It
his.
is?
That's not mine. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, I don't
sick.
know. I don't know how to play that, but he does. Um,
Nice.
so yeah, he's into heavy music. His favorite metal bands are Iron Maiden, Metallica, Municipal Waste, and Creator.
Nice.
But
My
I've
nine,
recently, what's
what?
that? Good.
What were you saying?
I was I was gonna say I recently got him into an old school heavy metal band called Satan, and also recently Carcass.
It's
So
just called Satan.
they're just called Satan. Yeah.
It's the most dumbed down name, but it's
And you know what? They formed in
basic
like
name.
1979 or 1980. So there are plenty of other names still available when they formed, but
Yeah,
they went with Satan.
nice. My 9-year-old brother, like, he hates heavy music. He's into like pop and hip hop and stuff, which is not my type.
No.
No.
Do you have other siblings too, or
Nope. Only
just you
him.
two? So there's the one hardcore heavy kid and then the one hip hop pop kid. I
Yeah,
mean, you guys gotta have something to fight about, right? So
a lot. He's the living incarnation of like a poop smoothie.
two boys. Yeah. I don't know if I can handle two boys. I think I lucked out with a boy and a girl for my own kind of about that balancing act.
Yeah. Well, if you could tell your 11-year-old self anything at all, what would you tell him?
I would tell him that don't worry, the Phillies and the Eagles will eventually win championships in your lifetime. That you will experience many years of misery as a fan, but it'll be worth it in the end. Um, and if you do have children, try to keep them off the path of becoming Philadelphia sports fans, but know that you'll ultimately fail in that too and curse them just as you've been cursed as well.
Let's go Flyers. Da 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 da.
Flyers. Oh, of all the Philadelphia teams to right now
Flyers
to
are the
pick,
best.
I mean, technically they are not, but we root for them anyway. How's that?
Okay. Would you like to add anything before we wrap it up?
Not other than I really appreciate you inviting me to have me on here. This is awesome, and um, mostly when I get to talk to somebody your age, it's telling them to like, you know, put their books away or to clean up their room, and they don't listen to me at all. So having an 11-year-old actually listen to me has been a change of pace for me, and I appreciate it. Thank you.
Okay, well, thanks to Albert for joining me today, and thanks to all of you for watching or listening. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel or follow me on Spotify and other streaming platforms. Till next week, bye.